tonight, it ain't right. I've got to have me a week. But I'll be back for you, Jack, and I'll let this machine speak. Ha ha. That's right. That's right. That's right. Ha ha ha.
Alright, fire this fucking.
You think people think it's funny? Who cares? I do. Hey, come around this side. Hey, that's the first helmet cam video I've ever done. I didn't say a damn word. You got to focus on this thing, man. It requires complete focus to keep the front end on the ground and keep it steering. It's got so much horsepower. This is built by Jeff Castine, also known as Jeff the Machine Castine. He is the definition of a MANIC mechanic. I dropped this off and let him have carte blanche on it, and he took it all away, man. If you're looking for a bike to run in the pole start class at the next mini bike throwdown, you couldn't ask for a better bike. Unbelievable. If you're running an 8-inch wheel class, this is the one to have. So let's switch it off the helmet cam here. So I think that the song "The MANIC Mechanic" definitely fits this one here. There's a whole story behind this bike. This is one of those projects, labor of love, that we got carried away with. Christy's brother-in-law and her sister and brother-in-law had this. We went up to Maine to hang out with them this summer, and you might have seen me drag racing my Harley Dyna with Eric and his Dodge Challenger, and we had a lot of fun. He goes, "Hey, I got a mini bike frame that I had in the 60s when I was a kid." And he goes up to the attic, and as a matter of fact, Kenny has a clip of that video. We could pull that out and show it to you. And he pulls out this frame, exactly painted the way it is, with a nice front fender on it, nice tires. He said the original motor blew on it, and they never put another motor in it. So it was just a roller frame with the seat. And obviously, we had the seat professionally recovered. Now I was like, okay, I'll rebuild it. Bought it up to Jeff Castine, who's somewhat of an expert in building mini bikes. He's building a V-twin, like a 30 horsepower one right now that we're going to try to put in a 65cc frame to race. And I told him, I gave him carte blanche on that. I said, just do whatever you want to do. So make it good, make it fun, make it fast. So it's cosmetically exactly the way it was in 1965, with the addition of completely recovered and new foam on the seat, new pegs, new grips, and a new brake lever and system. The rest of it is all original, the front and rear fenders and everything, the original frame. The engine is a 212cc Predator motor that's been built by Jeff. He's done a bunch of work on it, starting at the intake and carburetor with the high performance intake, a custom crankcase breather, and a full performance exhaust. And he tuned this thing so that it hauls the mill. The gearing he's got on this thing, it'll do over 40 miles per hour, which, you know, with the small wheels, it feels like you're going a hell of a lot faster than 40 miles an hour. It's a rush. It requires total focus. If you're looking for something to take your mind off your problems, you might have found it right here, because all you're focusing on is the experience. It's a very, very, I don't know, immersed riding experiences. Kenny, you rode this thing too. I saw you riding it. You were riding wheelies on it. I didn't want to risk it because I had back surgery a couple years ago. I can't afford to flip over my back. Tell them what it's like.
You breathe on the throttle and the front end comes up. I think you're being a little bit reserved.
Yeah, I don't want to flip it and hurt myself.
Trying to play it safe, but if you're not leaning over the handlebars, all I'm going to say is keep your hand on the rear brake, because it will flip right over backwards.
And it's hard to steer it because the front end comes up so easily. It wheelies so easily that you find that you're not steering because your front wheel's an inch off the ground. You got to keep up forward over the front to keep the front end down. So, I mean, think about it. Most mini bikes, modern mini bikes, are 50cc. This is a 212cc. This is not much smaller than what the size of the motor they run in the AMA Supercross series and Motocross series. This is a 212cc Predator engine. He also put a special clutch on it, and I'll go over the parts list with you guys. We put way too much money into this thing. The bottom line was we put $1,513 into building it. And Junior, if you want to go over this with them, I can just let them focus on it. Starting with the green mini bike frame. You want to show them the actual invoice? Oh, yeah. The green mini bike frame was free. That was given to us as a gift. The engine block only cost $150. The clutch was $39. The engine mount plate was $29. This is all my cost. There's no markup on this at all. Jack shaft assembly was $64. We used the EK Race gold chain and a regular chain. These two chains here was a total of $50. The throttle assembly with the cable and the grips was $20. The air filter intake kit was $64. The custom header exhaust was $60. The case vent stud mount was $29. The kickstand was $20. The extra sprockets was $20. The oil and gas was $10. It's running the VP race fuel in it. It's about $10 a gallon. Full tank. Clutch brake kit. This assembly right here was $75. The carburetor nozzle was $14, and the foot pegs, the new foot pegs, was $24. Parts total was $668. That doesn't include the seat recovering. I had the seat professionally recovered
and I get a deal. He only charged me $85 on the seat and foam, and then Jeff charged me $400 on labor to assemble it. So it was $1,153. Then we spent about 4 hours on it, working on it in our shop here. I drove up to Maine to pick up the frame, and the bike was delivered to Jeff up on the Vermont line, which is a 2-hour ride each way. So literally 8 hours of driving. $1,153 we outsourced. $360 was done in-house. Our actual investment on it is $1,513. A lot of stuff had to be fabricated and built to make this whole thing work. Jeff did a phenomenal job on it. It exceeded my expectations performance-wise. It still has the original paint from the 60s on it, so it has a classic look, but it's a lot of fun to ride. This would be a great bike to take to Mid-Ohio to ride around. It's a brand new motor. These motors will run all day long, 8 hours a day. Just run the shit out of it. They'll run forever. It's a very similar motor than they put into lawnmowers and power washers and that thing. So excellent machine if you're looking for something to compete in the mini bike pull start class, or something to run at events or in the pits as transportation, or just a cool conversation piece, or that mini bike you always wanted, never could have. Jeff made this black for us too. It says Kaplan Cycles, warning, must ride with respect. Take that with heed, you know. Don't misunderestimate what he's talking about. This thing has a lot of power. It'll do over 40 miles an hour easily, and it feels like it has about 20 horsepower. I know it's less than that, but it feels like 20 horses. I haven't really ridden any other bike that wheelies as easily as this. Have you? Maybe a CR500?
It's got something to do with it having an extremely lightweight chassis and a little rear wheel on it, but definitely a weapon in the pull start class. There's not much else to say, guys.
We'd like to at least get what we have invested back out of it. We originally thought we were going to build it and keep it, but we've frankly, after putting $1,500 and a bunch of time chasing parts and delivering it here and there, and so sometimes I get a little carried away. This one I did $1,513 invested into it, plus a trip to Maine, 2 trips to the New Hampshire line, and 2 trips to the detail shop. So, Christ, probably 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, over 17 hours of drive time, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. But when it comes to these projects, it is what it is. I didn't know I was going to end up with a bike, but I felt compelled to make it kick ass and look around you. Everything I do, I don't cut corners. I go first class, and that was done on this one. You won't find a more powerful mini bike, with better engineering, the way this is put together with all top shelf components. You can build one yourself, but you're going to end up the same thing as me. You're going to have months of, we started building this thing this past summer, so we outsourced the seat and some of the engine work and everything else. It just takes time to gather all the parts and put it together and tune it to perfection. So this one's done. It's a classic. It's ready to go. Good luck bidding on it. If you have any questions, give us a call, 860-454-7024. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.